1999, Morpheus offered Neo a choice between a red pill and a blue pill. In 2018, this country fractured between red and blue. In 2022, I'm here to tell you that if you really want the truth, more voters are neither red or blue. Yet, they have no representation, no choice, and no options. They have to choose between candidates chosen by the red people or the blue people. I'm David Esrati, and I'm running for Congress as an American, as in red, white, and blue. I'm a veteran, an activist, and a small businessman. I'm asking you to join me in reminding the professional politicians in Congress who their bosses are. I support ranked choice voting, campaign finance reform, and a verified voter information system, all so we can stop having the best politicians money can buy. It's time to elect a veteran who will work for you, no matter what color they want to label you. Please go to electesrati.com and learn more. I'm David Esrati, and I approve this message. In Jurassic Park, you thought those little baby dinosaurs were cute until they turned into out-of-control carnivores. That's sort of what happens to government when we elect people based on very expensive advertising campaigns and propaganda. I'm David Esrati. I'm a veteran and a small businessman running for Congress. You don't want professional ad people and pollsters to sway your vote. All those hot-button issues like gun control, abortion, borders are all politicized to stop you from voting rationally. And thinking rationally seems to be in short supply these days. Most Americans have been voting against their own best self-interest for a long time because we've allowed money to buy our leaders. 1 million Americans died in the last 2 years because our leaders couldn't lead. It wasn't that hard. Mask, distance, test, and then vaccinate. In an instant, we had billions to spend on healthcare for COVID, when for years we've been told we can't provide healthcare for everyone equally in this country. That's an unintended consequence of the pandemic. If you think about it, our government can pretty much do whatever it wants, or what the people who buy our politicians tell our leaders to do. We also had a ton of money to prop up businesses. The next thing you know, it turns out that a living wage was not only possible, but necessary. As a small businessman who won't sell you out to corporate interests and lobbyists, I can tell you that it's time to fully understand the consequences of companies like Amazon, Facebook, and Google and their effect on small business, and to remind you that small business is the #1 creator of jobs in this country. So this next election, don't trust this ad or any other political ad. Do your homework and think before you vote. It's time to put this ad man in Congress because I know that the best advertising is based on the truth, not the size of the budget or payola. Or you can just vote based on who has the money to buy their way into Congress and live with the consequences. I'm David Esrati, and I approve this message. Hi, I'm David Esrati, and welcome. It's one of my favorite subjects we're going to have here today, talking about advertising. And we're going to talk about political advertising, which is the bane of advertising in my book. Oh, in case you didn't know, I'm running for Congress, OH-10, all of Montgomery County, all of Greene County, parts of Clark. This is an interactive town hall, live streamed. I do this every day, every weekday, Monday through Friday. And once I get to Congress, I plan on doing the same at the end of every day, to explain to you what I did during the day, what I did it, what's coming up, what you think, what I'm planning on doing. Because as an elected representative, communicating with you is the most important thing to do. So if you're here, say hi, put it in the comments. I see them, I'll say hello, we'll interact, and we'll keep going. So, I promised you I was going to show you a new ad, and I'm going to save that for last. I don't have a 1,700,000 in the bank, and I don't have 27 billionaires backing me. So if I do release an ad, I'm going to have to depend on people like you to share it on social media to your friends and have hopefully it, quote, goes viral. Going viral is never guaranteed. We're going to look at least one ad that went viral and another that may go viral. And we're going to talk about what the big problem is with advertising in politics. And it's really simple. I was at a candidates night on last night, and we had, 15 candidates up on the stage. So they asked us a question, and they gave us 2 minutes to answer. First candidate, second candidate, third candidate, fourth candidate, fifth candidate, on down the line. So the guys at the end had a chance to listen to everybody else, 1. And 2, they had lots of time to prepare and think. Nothing wrong with that, except for the last 8 people were judicial candidates who can't say anything other than, I'm going to follow the law. So there's not a whole lot of insight there. But even so, candidates' nights are really ineffective. In debates, we don't have those anymore. And even if we do, we don't get to ask the other candidate questions and have them answer on the spot. It's all prearranged and formed and controlled and very short responses. People are frustrated. They have no way of getting good information. They rely on things like memes on Facebook, bad articles in newspapers, the League of Women Voters Guide. If, for instance, Mike Turner didn't even respond, neither did a lot of other Republican candidates. But there is such a dearth of there's not real resources out there. You can go to the websites. Most websites have, a bunch of snazzy lines, and you get a mailing with 3 headlines on it. Not from me, you won't. You get a mailing from me. It has lots of information, if I can afford to mail. But anyways, we get ads thrown at us constantly. We're sick of them. And the worst part is they happen fourth quarter, so it hurts people in business trying to sell their goods and services. But politicians in general aren't very sophisticated. So we're going to start out with an ad that's titled a Super Bowl ad, Director's Cut. It's for the Senate in Arizona. Now, Arizona, you got to remember, this is the state where, all them illegals coming over the border, and they still think it's the Old West. And, we don't have a statesman like John McCain anymore there to manage things and be responsible. So this guy named Jim Lehman came up with this ad, and we're going to watch it, and I'm going to try not to vomit. That's a great setup there. So here we go. It's a DC gang!
Well, if it isn't Big Jim Lehman.
We're tired of being pushed around.
And inflation.
And open borders.
And gas prices.
The good people of Arizona have had enough of you. It's time for a showdown.
Now you go on and get.
I'm Jim Lehman, and I approve this message.
Obviously, Mr. Lehman is pro-gun, and he's a hell of a shot because, instead of doing what you're supposed to do with a gun, which is shoot somebody to kill them, center body, double tap, he's shooting weapons out of other people's hands. Now, as unbelievable as that is, the biggest problem here besides the fact that this isn't Hollywood, this isn't a movie, is not only is he belittling his opponents, including one who happened to be a military officer and an astronaut, Mark Kelly, but he doesn't really tell you anything about what he stands for, what he cares about, what he does. There's no issue at stake here. This is, I think I'm John Wayne and you should elect me because I look good on TV and I'm all for guns and I'm going to build a wall. And I'm sorry. Do you really want this man making decisions controlling the future of our country? This is scary, okay, to me. I have no use for Mike Turner. I don't call him names. Now, I will admit that I will call Phil Plummer, Phil the torturer Plummer, because Phil was allowing people to get tortured in his prison. I have no problems calling him that. I exposed that story. I believe I own that story, and I don't approve of it. But if I was there debating Phil, if he was the person I was running against, which I'm not, that's LaRonda Jackson, who you should vote for if you live up north in the gerrymandered district. Still, I really don't approve of these kinds of ads. So the next ad, and this guy's got a couple ads that are really good. I'm only going to show you the first one because we didn't have time today to get all this stuff together. But his other ad is powerful as well. This guy's on top of things. His name's Gary Chambers, and he's running in Louisiana, and he's black, and he looks younger, and I don't know anything about his background, but I know that this guy has some facts and some issues, and he makes it real clear how he differentiates himself from everybody else. That makes this a really strong ad. Now, little update here for you to understand. Louisiana it doesn't have ranked choice, but it uses a majority vote system. There are 13 candidates appearing on the ballot on November 8th. Okay? So everybody competes at the same time, and a candidate can win the election outright by receiving more than 50% of the vote. If no candidate does get that, the top 2 vote recipients from the primary advance to a general, regardless of their party affiliation. This is sort of like the jungle primaries they have in California. However, this is on November 8th. So we won't know who the next senator is going to be right away unless somebody pulls a rabbit out of the hat and manages to get 50%, which is almost impossible with 13 candidates. Okay? So the incumbent is a guy named John Neely Kennedy, who's been in there for a little less than 6 years. He was an appointee. I forget who he replaced or why, and I'm sorry about that. Hopefully somebody can look that up and tell me in the comments. But this spot is about legalizing marijuana, and it is one of the most powerful spots you're going to see this campaign season. It's been out for a while, and it's got at least 500,000 views. So here we go.
Every 37 seconds, someone is arrested for possession of marijuana. Since 2010, state and local police have arrested an estimated 7.3 million Americans for violating marijuana laws, over half of all drug arrests. Black people are 4 times more likely to be arrested for marijuana laws than white people. States waste $3.7 billion enforcing marijuana laws every year. Most of the people police are arresting aren't dealers, but rather people with small amounts of pot, just like me. I'm Gary Chambers, and I'm running for the U.S. Senate, and I approve this message.
Great spot. Guy didn't even have to say anything on camera. It's all voiceover. And the images are absolutely crisp and beautiful. And I see our YouTube is getting an error here. I don't know why. I hope we're still smooth.
Yeah, it's still going. It's still recording smooth. We're streaming smooth,
Okay.
So.
But he's got another ad as well, and these are powerful. He's got a huge Twitter following. He has engaged people. He's been running for over a year, and it is a solid presentation because what's he doing? He's informing voters with facts, and facts matter. At my agency, we say there's only two things. You either create trust or you evoke lust. When we do ads and we do them right, you're going to do that. Gary evokes trust, and then for all the people who are sick of petty marijuana laws screwing up their lives, he gets their love. He's picked a single issue and he's covered it well. I'm still getting an error message. Can you hear me, Jen? It's good to see you here, but are we clear? Are we broadcasting smoothly? Please drop a comment and welcome. Same thing, Darby. I don't know what's happening on Facebook either. So that is two of the spots that I have to show you. This third one I just saw, I think it was released on Tuesday. And this is a powerful spot. Good. We're back on. Okay. Excellent connection back again. Thank you for the updates. And this spot, when I watched it, I said, holy cow. Because what it did is it took us into the future and it made us think, what happens if? And while it definitely calls out Republicans and says, look, this idea you have is not good, you don't really think about it until you have it right in front of you. Concrete, can't miss, know what's going on. And this spot does it powerfully. Now, I've got, friends who are on the other side of things. Oh, no, this would never happen. But it has happened. Okay? We're going to show you the commercial, then we'll talk about what he thinks will never happen, and we'll go from there. Eric Swalwell, by the way, is a representative running for re-election in California. He ran briefly for president last time out when we had originally that huge field and dropped out. He is also on the House Intelligence Committee along with Mike Turner. And when I boosted this spot on Twitter, he said, thank you, and responded, and I told him who I was. He said, text me, which I did, and I haven't heard back yet. But it's amazing if you read the comments on YouTube on his spot. And we'll add these spots into the comments on YouTube so you can see the original links, and I'll even put that other Gary Chambers ad in there too. But this is from Eric Swalwell, and I'm going to let you know what it's called. It's called Lock Her Up. You heard that chant. It was about Hillary Clinton. But now we're looking at what it really could mean. So can we roll that one, please?
You're weird.
He is weird, but cute.
Gross.
Mary Anderson,
Yes.
I have a warrant for your arrest.
Arrest for what?
Penal Code 243 violation. Unlawful termination of a pregnancy.
You gotta be kidding me.
That is my personal business.
That's for the courts to decide, ma'am. Your medical records have been subpoenaed, and Dr. Landry's already in custody.
No, my God, you can't just.
You will have to submit to a physical examination.
What? By who?
No one's touching me.
Sir, get that man! Ma'am, turn around!
Oh my God.
Put your hands behind your back, now!
Why is this happening? Love you, honey bear.
We're just enforcing the law here.
Elections have consequences. Vote Democrat on November 8th. Stop Republicans from criminalizing abortion everywhere. Protect women's rights and freedom.
Please don't do this. Please.
That's a spot I wish I had done myself. I don't have the budget to do that, but that spot could work for every Democrat everywhere in the country. And if that doesn't get women out to vote, I don't know what does. Now, my friend says, oh no, they'd never pull guns on that. You like that? Well, I don't know. What was Breonna Taylor doing? She was sleeping and they managed to shoot her. Okay? They've gone into houses left and right to serve warrants. And people have ended up dead. Now, this woman probably wouldn't have ended up dead, or her husband, because they're white. And face it, we have different laws for white people as we do for black people, as Gary Chambers pointed out. But the reality is, these laws are already in place. And trusting the states, as my friend says, he's okay with that, is not okay. He said, well, you can always move to another state. Well, what are we going to do? Become a nation of nomads that has to move and give up our roots and our family and our relationships because we've got lawmakers who think they can run their religious garbage down our throats and tell us what we can and cannot do and take away rights that were granted to us 50 years ago? There is no okayness about this reversal of Roe v. Wade. It is not okay. And if you're not a woman and taking that ad and sharing it with all your friends and saying, look, we've got to get out and vote on November 8th, and we got to vote straight D and send these idiots away and start healing this country from the terrors of Donald Trump, something's wrong with you. Even if you don't agree with abortion, the fact that the police are interfering in what your doctor does with you, what's next? Oh, you're on birth control? Come here. You're under arrest. We can't have that in this country. We're Roman Catholic. Oh, you're an interracial marriage? Oh, no, that's not okay. You're going to jail. I mean, what's next, realistically? This is absurdity, and the Republican MAGA-loving people are way off the deep end. So, that ad, I'd like to hear what your responses are now that you've watched it. Hopefully it's not the first time you've seen it. But do you think that ad is successful? Do you think that is a meaningful ad? And the question is that what the DCCC should be spending their money running across the nation and letting everybody know what's coming? If I was a betting man, that's what I'd do. If I was a, super PAC or one of these multimillionaires who wanted to make sure choice was real, I'd take that ad and I'd put it and just cut it off after vote Democrat and be done with it and run it to death. Darby says the ad is powerful. I don't see any comments from anybody else, but yeah, I had to watch that a couple times. It was a really solid ad. So, when ads really make a difference, we can name a few from the past. You had Reagan with his It's Morning in America. And you've had Daisy under Lyndon Johnson for, nuclear war. And you had the Swift boat stuff, which sunk John Kerry. I mean, we've seen ads that have done all kinds of things and had different effects on people. But there is power in good advertising. Generally, it means stick to one subject. Jim Lehman didn't do that. Don't sit there and call people stupid names. Jim Lehman didn't do that. Give people some hope for the future, even if it's you elect me and this won't happen. I think we saw that in both Gary Chambers' ad, and I think we saw that in Eric Swalwell. So, Jen said she saw it a few days ago and the DNC should be flooding it everywhere. And Tam said, powerful ad. The new justices all swore that they would not review Roe versus Wade, but they lied. And they got in position. Anyway, because our Congress is bought, sold, and paid for by special interests and big money. So, I've been working on something, and you guys are going to be the first to see it. And unfortunately, I've had some people out for a few days here at the office, and we're behind. So the website isn't ready, so you're not going to be able to see it. We've got buffering again. I'm going to have to talk to my internet gods. They promised this wasn't going to happen, and it's happening. So I'm not happy about this. But we're going to wait for the stream to return to good health, and then we're going to run this ad that we did. But if the Democratic Party had any clue on how to run ads and how to build a message and tell a story, they'd tell one like the one that we are doing. And again, it's not ready to be shared amongst everybody. We're not going to post it on YouTube Live yet, but we are going to show it to you guys. And what the issues at stake here are the same ones that are at stake everywhere. When you have gerrymandering, you have politicians picking their voters instead of voters picking their politicians. I'm going to wait here for a second and see what's going on. In fact, I'm going to take a picture of this screen because I am very frustrated with my internet people right now. Isn't that horrible? I'm going to send it to them. We're back to an excellent connection. So, with that, here's the spot that I did, and be available here soon. Can you run it now, Joseph, please? Thank you. If I told you some billionaires rigged our elections over 20 years ago, would you be
mad? I always believed that I grew up in a democratic republic where my
vote mattered, that we chose our elected representatives to
work for all of us, not just the wealthy. That's why this
November 8th, it's up to you to funk the system.
To funk the system.
To funk the system.
To funk the system.
To funk the system too.
Restore the power to the people.
I'm David Esrati, and I approve this message. Well, there. Hopefully that didn't buffer. We have 9 people watching on YouTube. I don't know how many are on Facebook, but I'd like your feedback. You saw the candidates there. We've got about 3 weeks to go, and hopefully we can get the message out and get people interested in sharing that and getting yard signs. I had hoped to get elections, not auctions, yard signs up and in place, but that doesn't look like I have the funds to do it because I'm not Mike Turner getting $2,900 donations from billionaires from out of state. So, there you have it. And with that, we're going to be back tomorrow at 4 p.m. for another exciting edition of the Esrati YouTube live stream town hall, where you can talk to your future elected representative and interact and tell me what you think, and so that we can share and work together to get you the government that belongs to we the people and not we the corporations. There is an event tomorrow night at Greene County. There's the Greene County Democratic Party meeting tomorrow night. I will be there at 7. Greene County offices are right there, catty corner to the courthouse in Xenia. So we'll see you there. And we've got some other things that will be coming up. Watch the website under the events tab as we add them. I know Jennifer Bruner is coming to Xenia next Monday. And on the 20th, which is tomorrow afternoon actually, I will be in Springfield with Vote Common Good at Veterans Park to be at a rally talking about the dangers of Christian evangelism in politics, right-wing Christian evangelism in politics, and about this election coming up. So come on out there. So I pulled that commercial together to form a team to help everybody. I offered 2 other candidates. Some of them backed out. I am very sorry that they are not team players, but this is the Montgomery County Democratic Party and some people in Greene County, and apparently they don't believe in working all together. But these ones that I'm in there with, they did. They saw value. They let us do it. And I think it's a great spot, and hopefully we'll be sharing it soon as we get that website up. So, thank you so much, and I'm sorry about the internet problems, but we'll see you tomorrow. Thanks. Actually, we might be late tomorrow, just because I've got to be in that thing in Springfield at 3. So let's figure at 5 o'clock, okay? We'll meet at 5, all right? Special time, special place, but it might be later. All right? Thank you.